Hello and welcome to PWRN. I'm your host Taurus Toussaint. I hope everybody enjoying themselves tonight, because I know I am. I'm trying something different tonight. I'm trying some vanilla crown with a fever tree premium ginger beer. Pretty good combination. It's a little spicy, and which is perfect for somebody from Louisiana. But if you like a little spice in your life, you know what I'm saying, go and give it a shot. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely a good drink. And also I like to say, man, I thank everybody for the support. Everybody inboxing me encouraging words, because God knows I be needing to hear it sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate that. And I just want to let y'all know, man, to keep watching, stay tuned in. You know what I'm saying? I just try to give my honest opinions and my views on things, and hopefully enlighten people. And like I said, thanks, and I definitely appreciate that. But tonight, I want to talk politics and basically give my opinion on what I think about the current political situation and my views on some of the things that's happening in the media right now. And just to give a quick recap, we just had 2 continuous years of investigating whether Trump colluded with the Russians during his 2016 campaign, which I predicted would have the exact outcome that it did. But that wasn't because I didn't believe he colluded with the Russians, but because it's rare that powerful people ever have to face the consequences for anything that they do wrong. Now, you'll hear a lot about accountability these next few years, but see it about as many times as you'll see Trump's tax returns. And now that the Robert Mueller report concluded that Trump did not collude with the Russians and brought a screeching halt to the collusion talk in the mainstream media, now they're about to pick right back up with 2 more continued years of whether he obstructed justice or not. Now I want everybody to ask themselves this. Is it possible that all of this is a part of a grand scheme by the media, politicians, and Trump himself to keep us focused on what make headlines, while the things that are crucial to making this government work for people like you and I are being drowned out by reality TV tactics? It's just scare tactics. So let me sum up what I think Bob Mueller report is saying. Number one, Trump campaign didn't collude with the Russians, but for some reason, Trump still chose to do whatever he could to slow or end the investigation. He also criticized Jeff Sessions for recusing himself. He threatened to get rid of Bob Mueller, and he didn't trust his own Justice Department during the investigation. So think about this. Had Trump not done any of those things, we wouldn't even be having this conversation right now. And Robert Mueller's job was to investigate whether Trump campaign had anything to do with the Russians. Anything outside of that wasn't a part of his job. So I think, if anything, Mueller knew, as far as his investigation, Trump had no reason to behave in a lot of the ways that he did, which raised suspicion, but still wasn't enough to indict. So I think this is the reason why he concluded his report the way he did, simply implying Trump did not collude with the Russians, but yet a lot of the things that he done was obstruction of justice. But he had absolutely no reason or grounds in doing so. So a lot of the things that's happening right now with Trump is basically his own fault. Trump have a lot of people around him, man, advisors and lawyers who can help him out in a lot of these situations. But yet he chooses to indulge in Twitter and watching the news to get his information. He's not trusting his advisors. He's not trusting his national security team or any of those people to. And I just like to say this, man. There's a lot of people out here that's counting on that guy. I work with a lot of dudes that actually believe in Trump. It's disappointing for me because I know people that believe in the dude. You know what I'm saying? And I just think he blowing his opportunity to regardless of if the Russians helped him or not. I feel like he still should have took the opportunity to say, hey, look, well, maybe the Russians interfered in the election or whatever, but I'm gonna take the time that I have in the White House to show and to prove to everybody that this is what I'm capable of doing, and this is what I could do for the people that voted for me. You know what I'm saying? And I just think he's blowing that. Something else I want to talk about, because I think it's important, is the Democrat strategy for 2020. You know, how is it that they're going to use the exact same strategy as the Republicans in 2016 by crowding the field with like 20 some candidates and still counting? Do they not remember the divide among voters who supported Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton in 2016? So let me tell you how I see this playing out. These are the only candidates that I see that will most likely be taken serious by 2019. And that's Joe Biden, Beto O'Rourke, Elizabeth Warren, Kamala Harris, and Bernie Sanders. Now, I see this going two ways. One is I think that the Democratic Party, meaning the members of Congress, want to see Joe Biden run against Trump, and that's because Joe Biden is your typical politician. He understands how Washington works, and he's not going to do much to shake up the traditional way of doing things. And second, I think the Democratic Party would choose Beto O'Rourke because I see him also being like your typical politician. Now, Elizabeth Warren, Kamala Harris, and Bernie Sanders, I see them being more of a people's choice. And the reason being is that Elizabeth Warren been fighting against Wall Street and the big banks most of her career, and she also supported breaking up the big banks after the financial collapse in 2008. Now, Bernie Sanders, he has a belief that politics and politicians should work for the people they represent most of his career. Like free Medicare, free tuition for all is definitely a move in the right direction. You just got to think about how important that would be for parents to know that their kids will get a quality education and don't have to worry about breaking the bank just to send them off to college. Now, the only way I see Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders and Kamala Harris getting a nomination is if young people, black women, and the middle class demand it. And that's more true for Bernie Sanders than it is for Elizabeth Warren or Kamala Harris. But I think Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders' politics don't perfectly align with the traditional way that Democrats do things. The candidate I think that neither party, Democrats or Republicans, want to see in the White House is Bernie Sanders. So I believe that the attack is going to come from both sides. They believe that Bernie Sanders' politics could change the conversation for generations to come. The same way Obamacare, which is the Affordable Care Act did, which will change the healthcare conversation forever. It'll never be talked about the same again. And that's the reason why Republicans worked tirelessly over the last several years to kill it. And I think that Bernie Sanders will have the same effect on politics, because once the American people will see that politics actually can work in our favor and it ain't as complicated as people make it out to be, I think that'll change the whole narrative for quite some time. And that's just my prediction on the path to 2020. And thanks for watching. Salute. Is it salute or salute? I don't know.